All it took was for this woman to slam the door shut, to turn her near-bankrupt life around, because the door number jumped from 6 to 9. The package meant for room 9 ended up at her doorstep, at first thinking it was her own delivery. She kicked the package inside with her foot, but when she opened it she was instantly stunned. Inside was a box filled to the brim with cash. Seeing this windfall, the woman instantly felt a glimmer of hope for her future, before she could even celebrate. Two men with menacing expressions knocked on the door, asking if she had seen a delivery package. Gina forced herself to stay calm, and said she hadn't seen anything. The two men didn't ask any further questions, and turned to leave. Gina thought she had easily fooled them, and began preparing to hide the money. But the next second someone knocked on the door again. She hurriedly tossed the money onto the top of the cabinet. The door was forced open. It was the same two men who had just left. The leader slapped her across the face. Then, grabbing Gina by the hair, he demanded she find the package. Gina had never encountered such a situation before. She was completely terrified. The two men ransacked the room, just as one of them was checking under the bed. The money fell right next to him. He was about to pick it up in excitement, when in the next second he was knocked to the ground. The other man rushed over at the sound, and began beating Gina again. Finally, they pinned her to the bed, preparing to strangle her. Just as her life hung in the balance, Gina accidentally felt a knife, and stabbed it straight into the man's body. Looking at the two bodies on the floor, she panicked completely. She stood frozen in place for a long time. Eventually she decided to go to the police station to turn herself in, but after waiting at the door for 2 hours, no one paid her any attention, thinking about the rest of her life, and realized she would be forced to live out her days in a dark, windowless prison. Gina immediately decided to go home. Instead of turning herself in, she planned to dispose of the bodies at home, and keep the money for herself. She carefully cleaned the murder weapon, dragged one body into the closet to hide it, and placed the other in a box. She wiped the bloodstains off the floor. After taking care of all this, Gina finally felt at ease as she began sorting through the money. First, she set aside a portion to send to her mother. She sealed the rest and stuffed it into the toilet tank. Then she sought out an agency that made fake passports, planning to flee the country with this massive sum. But things were never that simple. The money's owner, a mob boss, was searching for it. He sent 2 henchmen over. The two arrived at the real room 9, only to find it completely empty. Just as they were about to leave, they happened to run into Gina's neighbor. She said she'd seen 2 men dressed exactly like them go into room 6 next door yesterday. The two instantly realized what was going on, and immediately forced open the door to Gina's apartment. But after searching the room for a long time, they found nothing out of the ordinary. Just as they were about to leave, a cell phone suddenly rang. The sound came from under the table. Lifting the tablecloth, they discovered a metal box. They opened it to find the body of one of their accomplices. The caller was their boss. He told the boss he suspected another accomplice had killed the victim and run off with the money. The gang boss didn't believe it, since he'd raised that man from childhood, so he dialed the other man's number. As the phone vibrated, the other man was shaken out of the closet.